But my question for you, as I just mentioned at the beginning of the segment, is, I used to, our HOA used to have a closed Facebook group, and I'd watch all the comments from people going on. And I would say about 160% of the time, no, 200% of the time, the person who was posting had no idea what they were talking about. Now, if it had been right, it would have been a problem. It just wasn't wrong. So my question for you is, do we have this problem in a lot of other homeowners associations? And really, should a member of a homeowners association even trust anything they see on social media?
Well, I wouldn't say they shouldn't trust anything.
Okay.
But I think that anything that a person reads off of social media, they should look at with a very skeptical eye. I see these discussions, and we deal with a lot of social media.
Yeah.
I see these discussions on social media where people are giving information that you would normally get from an attorney, legal advice. And I'm kind of shocked about how often it's so incorrect. As a matter of fact, I saw a posting on I was following a conversation on Nextdoor about timeshares. And a woman came in and said, you can't be reported to a credit bureau by a timeshare for being delinquent. And I mean, my head almost exploded. I was like, where did you get that idea from? That is absolutely incorrect.
Yeah.
Your credit can be destroyed for being delinquent to your homeowners association or condo or a timeshare. So that advice was so incorrect, and unfortunately we see that way too often.
And so, and I would assume in many cases, it's one member of the association trying to provide blanket advice to other members. Mm-hmm. Generally, I would guess the problems come in where they're saying, no, here's how you need to deal with the board, or here's how you need to deal with the association, or you don't have to do this, or you do have to do this. Is that where the bulk of the problem comes from?
That's where the bulk of the problem comes in. If you live in a condominium or homeowner association, there are legal documents that deal with I'll just call them the rules for simple.
For everything, right?
Reference, but there are documents that deal with all of these different kinds of rules about what you can do, what you can't do, when you must do things. And I'm not just talking about things like mowing your lawn or painting your house. I mean, it deals with community amenities like the swimming pool or the tennis courts or the clubhouse or parking, whether your parking is on street or off street. I mean, there are all of these rules and regulations. And you don't get to just ignore them.
Right.
And many of them are codified in the association's covenants, or even stronger, they're written right into state law.
In some cases.
And when you see people talking about things and there's a state law that countermands what they're talking about, it makes me go crazy.
So if you can't get your advice from social media, where should a member of an HOA get his or her advice from? And I believe there's a new federal law that affects associations. We might not have time to dig into it deeply, but I'd love to at least make sure they're aware.
So there's an industry organization. It's called Community Associations Institute. It's a big group. Okay. The Atlanta chapter has over 1,000 members. So this is small peanuts. They have a library of information. You can purchase books, pamphlets. They have some free materials that the national office or the Atlanta chapter can send you. So you can go to their website. And then the CTA, I wanted to mention the CTA. There's a quote new, it's actually been around a couple of years, but there's a new federal law that may go into effect at the end of the year. It's called the Corporate Transparency Act. And the reason that we're calling attention to it to board members is, as the law stands right now, board members are going to have to report to the Treasury Department identifying information, it's called personally identifiable information, about themselves, beneficial ownership, who controls the association's bank accounts, their address, their phone number. They have to provide a photo ID, which would be a passport or a driver's license. And I think that most associations that have management companies, the management companies are all gearing up to do this reporting electronically.
Yeah.
For all of our clients. For self-managed communities, you're going to have to go online and do it yourself. And the kind of gotcha is every board member has to do the report at the same time. It's an online form, and you got to do it all at once.